Okay, so this is video 2 of the weekly trading recap videos. And as you can see this week, I've made $745 US. And we're basically going to divide this video into 3 parts. So obviously my weekly P&L and what I should have made if I'd executed my edge perfectly, the trade recaps, and then the lessons that I have learnt in this video. So weekly result. I made $745 this week. You might think this was a good trading week. It was not. My edge offered 2.5K. So had I stuck to my plan perfectly this week, I should have made $2.5 thousand. I only made $745. So there's a $1,755 difference between what I made and what my edge presented this week. This is not good. Yes, it's good. I made profits for this week. That's good, etc., etc. But had I been perfect with my executions, it would have been a much bigger number. And so let's just go over the trades that I've taken this week. So as you can see, this week I'm up 5.6 R. So this is R. This doesn't mean percent of what I'm risking. Percent of what I'm risking, it's just above 2%. It's about 2.2%, but this is the risk reward that I've caught this week. So let's go over the first trade. First trade, by the way, this is my trading journal, obviously. So first trade was German index shorts. For me, these were textbook shorts, and I'm going to explain why. Starting off from the daily time frame, this was Monday, by the way. This was how Monday was looking. So we had opened up this new candle, we had tapped into this daily supply zone, and for me, order flow had shifted bearish, as you can see, swept the highs. This low failed to break this high. And so for me, order flow was definitely bearish, and I was looking for shorts. I didn't end up making any money that day. It was a break-even day, excuse me. And these were the trades that I executed. So 15-minute time frame, highs were weak. This is why I aggressively managed this trade. I was expecting for price to just go lower from here, but I did know that the highs were weak, but we were sweeping highs within this Asia range. And so for me, it was valid for me to start looking for shorts. And I basically got stopped at break even. I took 2 of these setups on Monday. Let me see. Yeah, so this was the first setup right here. So you see textbook AMD, so accumulation, manipulation, and then potential distributions all the way down to the low. And just to show you that this is real, these were my executions on the day, which ended up making me lose about $40 right here. So that was trade 1, that was Monday. And then Tuesday was my main trading day. This was where I should have made essentially all of my profits for the week. It was the only day that offered profitable trades in my edge. So Monday offered my edge, that with the trade that I've just broken down. Tuesday was the same thing. I should have executed these trades perfectly, but let's jump straight into what happened. So Tuesday, I start Tuesday off. I've basically broken my plan, the first initial trade. So I lose $364 by breaking my plan coming into the session. So this is what I'm really like annoyed at myself about, that I just started off the day. I broke my plan. I was overly confident, and I'll just show you the trade where I was breaking my plan. So basically I was higher time frame bearish on GBP USD. I was 100% looking for shorts, and I was expecting for price to take this previous daily low and then this other previous daily low down here. Retail sentiment was really bullish. So as you can see, we had I think it was 75% of all retail traders that were in longs. So for me, this is a direct confluence for me to look for shorts. I'm looking to go against retail because retail is most of the times wrong. So I took this short right here. Let's just go over the 5-minute. Yeah, so that was the short I took. Basically mitigating this zone, sweeping liquidity, big displacement candle. It was pre-session. I got stopped out in 10 minutes. And at that point, I'm like, whoa, I just did something that I was not supposed to do. What I was supposed to do was wait for price to tap into this 15-minute zone up here. So I'm like, okay, I have to now be really careful now, because usually what happens for me is if I take a first losing trade and it was out of my plan, it's very, very likely for me to fuck up in that session and maybe take another trade or something. So I'm aware that I have to be careful now. But I was still expecting for prices to go lower. And so this is the trade that I then took. I didn't take it up here. My entry was here, but I'm journaling what is the setup that I should have taken, which is a short at that level with this 15-minute zone. Liquidity above it, Asia range high. This is textbook open, high, low, close. So midnight open, accumulation of like we just get a range right here and then sweep of the highs and then boom, bearish displacement. I didn't manage to enter all the way up here. However, I entered right. I'll just show you the execution. I entered around here. So after the initial displacement, which means that I only banked about, I banked 3.7R with my late execution. I should have made about 6R on this trade. So this is the other reason that I started off that Tuesday session, fucked up, and then it influenced the whole other part of my trading session, because my trading plan says if I take one loss, then the second trade goes half risk. And so I only risked about 150 on this trade and I made 487. And yeah, that was the second trade. And then at that same time, I took this trade, which netted me 817 US. And this was another trade that was in my trading plan. And this one was just clean. This one netted me 5R. So essentially what I was doing was I'm trading from the extreme of the range, the internal range, equal lows of the low of the range. For me, I was seeing this whole move up as manipulation. I literally set a limit order at this 15-minute zone because I have data on these trades, right? Where it's a chain zone at the top of the range. It's swept liquidity. The whole move up is just textbook due to swing manipulation. And so I entered short up here, risking 175. So this is my half risk, $175. As you can see, there was liquidity above the zone. We tap into the zone, and then we just get a complete sell-off from there, all the way down to this low, which I will show you. I will show you right now. So that ended up playing out, and I will show you the execution as well. Oh, I don't have the execution. Do I have it on the other one? No. Okay, I don't have the execution on this one. You just have to trust me for this one that I took this trade. Well, you can see that I took this trade because that's the P&L for the day. So it was 817.5, and you can see obviously this was 817. So that was the trade that I took as a short. My emotions during this trade are very, very simple. This is a textbook setup in my model. It's extreme zone, cons, nothing. It was a perfect trade. My initial thoughts are I'm in too many trades right now because this was the third trade that I was taking in this session. However, this trade makes total sense. Hoping it'll have, these are the emotions that I have during the trade. So hoping it'll have the same strength as GU did because GU tanked that day. Looking about, what can you do to improve your mental game? Nothing. I did follow my plan, but this is my third trade of the day. So usually I'm trying to take 2 trades max. But if it's textbook, then and my edge shows up, then I'll take another trade. And then, so that was Monday, Tuesday. Yesterday, I completely broke my plan. This is why I'm very unsatisfied with this trading week, because last week was a perfect week. I stuck to my plan completely, made good profits last week, made more than this week. And this week, I fucked up. I literally, and we're going to go over the lessons right after, but I really fucked up. This trade was completely out of my plan. I had a very bullish bias on the German index. We had swept this low, daily was bullish. I was looking to see this candle open up here, create a lower wick, and then expand higher up to this current high of the week. And there's actually no real point in me breaking down this trade because it's out of my plan and I can't teach you guys anything apart from stick to your plan. But so this was the trade and ended up losing $150 on it, completely breaking my plan. And so that netted my week at $745 US dollars. So to give you a perspective, I started this account with $3.333, I'm risking 10% per trade. This was last week's performance right here. And yeah, the stats are still good on this account. So 45% win rate. I have a really decent profit factor. And then you can see my Zeller score is like crazy right now because I only have 2 weeks worth of data. But coming into next week, smooth transition into the lesson and thoughts. Well, my camera changed. It's all good. Coming into next week, these are the three things that I really need to focus on. Is this week I was way too aggressive with my trading. I don't know if I got overconfident, but I was just way too ready to trade in each session. I was like, okay, I'm ready to trade, etc. And what the difference between last week I was super passive. So last week I was very calm, made my pre-session analysis, wasn't even really looking at the charts once the session was on because I had alerts at the zones that I was willing to trade from. And so coming into next week, if I want to continue making profits, I need to be really passive like I was last week, meaning not the week that I just had, but the one before where I made more than this week. And yeah, I just need to stay really calm and stay objective and everything should be good, So I've written down bad trading week. Obviously, it was fine, but I really need to regain my focus for next week because obviously netting 2.5 this week would have, it's building a big buffer for the periods where my edge has drawdowns and all of that. So even though I did make profits, this is in about 2.5 trades, I lose these weekly profits. So yeah, that's the trading recap for the first week of November. And I will see you guys with this exact same format next week. See you guys.